is the spot where it was first seen? Where did it come from? What is it?
They're bringing crime. They're rapists.
You know, I know nothing about David Duke.
It's end of the world every day. 24-hour Trump horror fest. He tweeted again, civilization is collapsing.
Never in the history of the United States a monster of such horrifying hatred of man.
They claim that they can hear dog whistles, secret messages embedded in the text. They have a special power for hearing what you said without you actually saying it. We can disagree with some or several of Trump's policies. I'm not here to talk about politics. I'm talking about what he said and how it compares to what the media literally portrayed him as saying. When Donald Trump kicked off his presidential campaign at Trump Tower, he goes down the escalator and he gives a speech in which he says, all Mexicans are rapists. This isn't just a general impression. I mean, this is something that was said repeatedly on CNN, Time Magazine, CBS, Washington Post, Politico, Huffington Post. Repeatedly, time and again, we find them literally saying that Donald Trump said Mexican immigrants are rapists. A horrifyingly disturbing and grotesque thing to say. If Donald Trump said that, then absolutely he should drop out. The fact, of course, is that's not quite what he says. What he says is, when Mexico sends people, they're not sending their best. They're sending people that have lots of problems. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists. And some, I assume, are good people. And what he did say, was graceless. It was inappropriate. But gosh, he didn't say that all Mexicans are rapists. That's just not what he said. He's complaining that somehow he thinks the Mexican government is sending people that have lots of problems. But the media fixated on 2 or 3 words, they're rapists, and decided that the noun there must be the worst possible interpretation, meaning all Mexicans. Every single Mexican, children, nuns, old people, all of them are rapists. And what a shame that Donald Trump said that. And he explained himself repeatedly. He went around praising Mexicans in multiple states again and again, saying they're good people, they're wonderful people, I want them to come in legally. The media never cared. What they cared about was this cartoon to not echo a stereotype, create a stereotype that I had never even heard of, that all Mexicans are rapists. What's stunning about these stories, these memes, is that even despite their being so incoherent, the media is able to just keep them going endlessly by systematically neglecting every shred of evidence against the story and reading between the lines with everything that seems a little off color. So here's another meme. During the campaign, Donald Trump called for the creation of a national database, a registry that would track all Muslims in America. Every Muslim American would have to be registered in this thing, carry a special ID, perhaps wear a badge. This was echoed in countless many media. It's totally false. It just didn't happen. The proposal wasn't created by Donald Trump. It was made by a Yahoo reporter.
Do you think we might need to register Muslims in some type of database or note their religion on their ID?
This is Hunter Walker, Yahoo News, asking this to Trump. And what did Trump do? He didn't answer the question directly. He's just interested in sticking to his message and saying the things he wants to say. It's known as the artful dodge. I mean, this is something politicians have been doing for decades.
Well, we're going to have to look at a lot of things very closely. We're going to have to look at the mosques. We're going to have to look very, very carefully.
He said, look, he said carefully. Now, when Walker reports this, what he says that Trump says, he says he wouldn't rule it out. Then it becomes he calls for the creation of a national database. And this expression shows up on CNN. It shows up on the cover of New York Times. The fascinating thing is how they seem to play a game of telephone, of taking not just what Trump says and twisting it, but they'll take what each other of them say that Trump said, and they'll add details. And Donald Trump again and again says, I didn't say that, that's false, this is ridiculous, I didn't start it, a reporter suggested it. Did they apologize? Did they at any point say, you know what, we want to go back over some of these stories we said, whether they're about, religion or Mexicans or, let's do a tally of how many of these things we kind of twisted out of proportion. No, They're more interested in people tripping up on words rather than events. All kinds of things happen in the world. Alarming, important, urgent things. People die, people are dying. Serious things are happening, and instead, the sad state of the media is, what are they obsessed with? What is their number one concern? It's Twitter.